Alrighty, so let's just get started. Lie down on your back, bend your knees, and let's have the arms open in a T shape. You can have the palms facing upwards if that's comfortable, with your feet pressing against the mat just lightly. Relax your upper body, the backs of the arms, the backs of the palms, and around the neck and shoulders especially. Taking an inhale through your nose. Opening your mouth, exhale, sigh. Inhale through your nose. Feel the breath travel from the belly button to the chest, to the shoulders, to the throat. And out of your nose. Oops. Sorry, keep going. Something happened. Can you guys see me? 1 second. I got kicked out of the Zoom. Okay, I'm back.
Oh, no, you're there.
Sorry. So lie down again.
All good, all good. You never lost you.
Sorry? You never lost me? That's weird. It just said it signed out of the Zoom. Here I am. Okay. So have your feet flat to the ground. You're going to bend the elbows and place your fingers around your rib cage. Your thumbs kind of lower and your fingers wrapped around the top of your rib cage. Continue to breathe a more conscious breath, pushing into your palms with your ribs. On the inhale, feeling the ribs come together and giving an extra squeeze towards the center on the exhale. Inhale, widening the space between your palms. And exhaling, squeezing towards the center line. Last one here, inhale. And we'll exhale, draw in towards the center. Hold your breath just at the bottom, fully empty. Have your arms back out in that T shape on your breath in. Widen your feet to the width of your mat on the breath out. There's a light press on your feet on the breath in. Let both of your knees fall over to the left on the breath out. We're staying here. Turn the palms to face down. You have a little bit more support. Press the backs of the arms, the backs of the shoulder blades. As much as you're pressing the back body, let the legs fall, become jello, become heavy. And leave the left leg exactly as it is. We're picking up the right knee, strengthening that right leg. Maybe the foot can touch the ground at this point. Keep the left leg where it is. Resist the right knee open to the right. So big, wide hip opening. Left leg lazy, right leg strong. Breathe into the hip crease. Press into your toes. Using your right leg, push to the right so much the left knee lifts off the mat, and now both knees are on the right side. Let them relax, let them soften. Enjoying a breath from the left kneecap all the way to the left shoulder. Nice. Lift your left knee, place the left foot strongly on the mat, adding resistance to the left side to open up the hips. One side active, one side passive. Continue to push your foot down and relax your right knee if you can. Take an inhale And pull it over to the other side. Drag your right knee with you. Now we're on the left. Breath in. Sway your knees a little faster, a lot faster. Right knee opens, right knee falls over to the left. And one more time, lift your left knee, breathe in, and up and over to the other side. Breathe out. Nice. Knees come back up towards center. Let's press the feet to the ground. They're hip distance apart. Flip your palms and let's cactus open those elbows. Press firmly the backs of the hands, the backs of the forearms if you can feel that, and maybe the tops of the shoulders. Big wide chest opening. Breathe across the chest, across the rib cage. And arms go straight up over your head. Palms face each other. Here, imagine someone is picking up your hands by the wrists and separate the shoulders in the back body. You feel some space underneath those shoulder blades. You're reaching up towards the ceiling. And relax those shoulders back down to the ground. One more like that. Pressing into the feet, firming up the belly and reaching the fingertips up towards the ceiling. Like you're being pulled, like you can touch the ceiling. And relax those shoulders back down. Then we're going to slightly tuck the chin. Strengthen the whole spine as pressing into the ground. Feel your equal press on either side. Inhale, we'll reach those arms back only as far as where the ribs stay flat and pressing actively to the ground. Exhale, reach the pinkies towards the knees, still pressing the spine down. We're moving with breath. We're waking up the abdomen. Breath in, arms go back. Breath out, arms reach forward. Breath in, arms go back. Maybe the thumbs reach further towards the floor. Breath out, hands come forward towards the knees. This time curl the chin and lift the tops of the shoulders as you reach past your knees. Just 3 more like that. Waking up, inhale, we roll down and back. Thumbs go back, arms are long. Exhale, reach forward, tuck the chin, peel the shoulder blades off of the mat, reach past your knees. Last one, breath in, arms go back, relax the head. And exhale, up we go, tuck the chin, and we reach, reach, reach. Let's stay here, take an inhale. Stay here on the exhale. Nice, one more breath in. Roll yourself down one more time into your cactus arms. Press the backs of the palms. Press whatever you can touch into the ground. And then draw your knees in towards your chest. Hold on to the tops of the shins. Shins draw in, belly draws in, forehead to your knees. Squeeze towards the center line. Inhale into the back body. Exhale, draw to the center. You can always relax your head or use this rock and this roll to come up just into a comfortable seat. You can sit cross-legged or you could be on your knees. Good. We'll firm the sitting bones into the ground, get longer in the spine, and peel these ribs inwards. Reach your arms over your head. So we're doing some forearm work today, but first we're going to wake up the arms without any gravity, just reaching them up on your own. So arms come up and over your head. Take a breath in, pull the fingertips away from the sitting bones, like you have these 2 energies kind of splitting from the belly button up and down. Heavy the legs down. Bend your elbows in that same cactus shape. We're going to teeter the fingertips forward and the elbows slightly back. We're going to come back into our cactus shape. So it kind of looks weird from the side, but you guys get it. And elbows forward, fingers back. That's going to be really different. Without moving the rib cage, one more time. Cactus the arms, peel the fingertips forward, elbows slightly back. And to center, and back we go. Elbows back, fingers back. Let's hold this. Really go kind of to your extreme. The most you can peel those fingers back. Arms come up and over your head. Take an inhale. T-twist over to the right side on your exhale with the arms open, with the arms long. Push back an extra inch with the right hand moving back, left arm being pulled forward. Really wide wingspan. Good, and then grab the outside of your thighs, support your low back, lengthen the spine, breathe in, push into your palms, look behind your right shoulder on the breath out. Nice, turning the head first, arms second, arms reach up and over your head. A little faster, pressing down from the sitting bones, palms face forward, allow the shoulder blades to reach up, but draw the ribs down. So tuning into kind of the armpit zone, lengthening that, breathe in. Bend your elbows super wide on the breath out, being kind of strict with the width of your elbows. Arms lift up in the same way, kind of more of a Y on the breath in, and bend those elbows on the breath out. One more, breathe in, reach straight up. Breath out, bend your elbows. Good. Arms up, inhale, and we T-twist. Lead with the ribs turning around the spine. Arms separate like someone's pulling your wrists. Relax the back shoulder and strengthen the right forearm. You're using the core strength to stay up, the oblique strength to twist. And hold on to your thigh or your knee with your right hand. Left hand catches your low back and look over your left shoulder. Nice, look forward, arms reach up, and just for a second, take your hands to your heart center. And press into your palms. One breath to clear your mind. And out of the nose. You can bring your thumbs to your forehead. You can bow forward, and we'll get moving a little bit more. So coming into just a downward facing dog. So we know it. We take the hands forward. We step the feet back. We did all of this arm work for a reason. Let's spread the palms firmly into the mat. Squeeze the eyes of the elbows in. Separate the shoulders, or you could think of it as connecting them to the rib cage. Soften the knees and stick the sitting bones way up. Hang your head and keep that belt around the rib cage. We want to squeeze them in and up. Breath in, look forward. Breath out, lift your heels. Breath in, bend your knees as close as you can get them to the ground. Push your hips back and then forward into a plank pose by straightening your legs and by keeping lots of width in those shoulders. Navel to spine, heels press back, waking up the core in a different way. So think of all of our movements come from the center. Take a breath in. Just tap your knees down to the ground. Now we're in our tabletop. Instead of a cat-cow today, we are going to shrug the shoulders together. Let your chest hang. And push the palms, open up the shoulders, send the heart through as if it's going through the ceiling. One more like that. We squeeze the shoulder blades together like you're trying to crush something in the spine. And we open up the shoulders. Arms are really strong and pressing the whole time. Lots of space in the shoulders. Let's keep them this wide. And they're going to droop, and that's okay. We're going to catch it when it happens. Knuckles of the palms, especially the index finger, firmly pressing down. Keep the left toes tucked. Lengthen the right leg to the back of the mat. First, the toes are tucked. Then you point the toes and hover that back leg. See if you can keep it in line with your hip. See if you can keep a nice big press into your right hand. So if we start falling to the side, roll the right hip down. From here, we flex the right foot, breath in. We point the right toes, breathe out. We flex the right foot, breathe in. We point the right toes, breathe out. Lean slightly forward, tuck the left toes if they aren't, breathe in. Straighten your left leg like someone's pulling your right foot up towards the ceiling. You're in a downward facing dog. Take an inhale, bend your right knee, open up your hip, maybe look under your right shoulder. Good. Back towards center, downward facing dog with a pointed right toe. So it matters because we want that length, we want that extension. Look forward, breathe in, bend your left knee. Lower yourself back to that starting position and land soft. Right leg is still floating, that's a challenge. Good. Breathe in, point the toes, same leg. Breathe out, flex your foot, that's your break. Breathe in, point your toes. Breathe out one more time, pressing from the left foot, straighten it out, pull your right leg up and open up your collarbones. Breath in. Bend the knee, open up your hip, breathe out. Stay for the extra inhale, lower your left heel. Good, now we're awake in the whole body, downward facing dog. Right foot comes down to the mat. Pull forward through a plank. If you prefer always bending the knees and making a spring, that's kind of a nice way to get into your plank by straightening the legs. Take your inhale. Knees come down to the ground. Bend your elbows, pause. Send the chest forward and up, almost like you're trying to sneak it through with your bent elbows. Straighten the arms and round the spine like you're diving your forehead down. Kind of cat-cow action here, one more. Bend the elbows, slide your chest through as you open up your collarbones. Breathe in. Straighten the arms, round the spine like the forehead's going to touch the belly button. Good. Bending the elbows, sliding the chest through. You'll notice you're closer to the ground. Let's lie all the way down. Let me sneak back. Good. So the forehead is lifted off of the mat. Your hands are by your sides. Tops of the feet press down. Reach your arms straight out in front of you. The palms touch each other. Take a big breath in. Reach the toes away from the fingers. Toes are on the ground. And breath out. Tap the pinky fingers to the ground out in front of you. Inhale. Thumbs reach. Biceps in line with your ears. Tuck the chin. Breath out. Pinkies down to the mat. Last one. Breathe in. Thumbs reach. Breathe out. Circle your palms behind you. Use the strength of the arms to pull the upper body up, mostly widening the collarbones. One breath in. Breath out, forehead to the mat. Hands by your sides, baby cobra. Squeeze the elbows by your sides, lift the chest. Child's pose, press the hips back, forehead down. Nice, look forward, pull forward into a tabletop. Tuck your toes, lift your hips, downward facing dog. Last rib turns inwards. More strength in your palms. Nice. We'll lift the heels, we'll bend the knees. We'll load up our spring by pressing back into the hands. The hips go back, look forward. And we're in our plank on the breath out, like you're lengthening the backs of the legs. Hold yourself up just for the inhale. Then it's into our tabletop by dropping the knees so you can keep the toes tucked. Shrug your shoulders together, breath in. Separate the shoulders, or you can think like the sternum is trying to lift and go up and through your rib cage. One more, shrug the shoulders. You can feel them tighten around the spine. Let's open them up, keep them wide, and know that this all comes from the press of your fingers. Squeeze the elbows. Right toes are tucked. Lengthen your left leg. First, find the ground with the toes, and point the toes and only lift the leg in line with the hip. We don't want to dip in the low back. You want to keep that low belly strong. Nice. Find your balance. Point the toes even longer. Breathe in. Flex those left toes, breathe out. Point the toes, breathe in. And flex the toes, breathe out. This time we point the toes using the strength of your right leg, but also your hands, but also that kind of C curve of the spine. Straighten out the right leg into your downward facing dog. Continue to lengthen that left leg from the toes, from the heel, breathe in. Bend the knee, open up your hip, look underneath your left armpit. So here we have a passive hip extension. Circle it back. So here's kind of the more challenging part. Keep the left leg long. Pull some weight forward, bend that knee, lower yourself like an elevator back down to our starting position. Nice, you can always take a break with your left leg, or it's just a flexion of the foot and a pointing of the toe. One more time, flexing the foot and pointing that toe and making it so long, pulling it up, lengthening the right leg, and we're in our three-legged dog. This time to stay, breathe in, and bend that knee, open up the hip, breathe out. Good, take an inhale, and take an exhale. Good. Step your foot down into a downward facing dog. Pull yourself forward in through a plank pose. Take a breath in. Knees come down to the mat on the breath out. Soften the elbows, pull the chest forward and up. Straighten the arms, round the spine, lean back. Last one, bend the elbows, heart forward, dip down, then lift up. Keep the arms pressing. Straighten the arms, round the spine, this time straight into your child's pose. The forehead comes down, keep the arms long. Let's roll yourself back up. So it's a lot on the hands and the knees. If you need a break, maybe turn your fingers towards your knees. You could do a little wrist stretch. If you're okay, we're gonna keep going. So from our tabletop, maybe walk your hands just a little bit, a tiny bit away from you. You can have your toes tucked or not. Separate the shoulder blades again, like we had them. Roundness in the spine. Press into each one of your fingers. Take a breath in. On the breath out, bend the elbows slightly. Squeeze them inwards like you're going to do a chaturanga, and keep going until your elbows come down to the mat. So going slow and observing what happens, like you have a strap around the elbows. Coming up in the same way, pressing into each one of your knuckles and lifting the elbows up until your shoulders stack again. And we'll do that 2 more times. Breath in. Starting on the breath out, you're containing in the belly. Elbows are coming down to the mat, working the triceps for sure. And lifting them up. Still we have resistance in the palms. And last one, take a breath in. Breath out, let's go down on the forearms. Let's stay. Press everything you can into the mat. Step one foot back and the other foot back into your forearm planks. You might be off the mat like me, but that's okay. Roll the shoulders open in the same way. Squeeze the backs of the legs by pushing your heels against an imaginary wall. And breathe. Nice. To come out, we tap the knees down and roll onto your belly. Keep the forearms down to the ground. More in a comfortable way, you can even interlace your fingers. Tuck the left toes under and extend the right toes long. You have 2 opposite legs. Try to feel both hip points into the ground. You have a long right leg. We're squeezing that kneecap and lift that leg any amount and lower it down. Just going for 5 pulses, keeping the longest leg you can. So we're already at 3, 2, and 1. Bend your knees. See if you can get it to not touch the ground. Reach around with your right hand around the foot. You can keep your forearm down as you press your foot back into your hand. Kick out the left toes. Imagine being lifted up towards the ceiling. Good. To come out, both forearms come down to the ground. Point your toes. Have your hands close to you. Turn this into an upward facing dog. Strengthen the tops of your thighs. Open the chest. And a downward facing dog. Lift yourself up and back. First flow right here. Come forward in through a plank on your breath in. Keep the legs strong. Exhale halfway or all the way down. I'm going to go for it. Baby cobra or upward facing dog. This time into your tabletop and keep walking your hands back. We're standing on our knees. Separate your knees so there's some distance, hip distance apart. But squeeze the glutes, push the hips forward, and draw the ribs in. Arms come up and over your head. More in a Y shape than straight up. We want space in the chest. Take a breath in. See if you can keep your arms over your head and also lean back in a diagonal. If that's not possible, hands come lower, hands can come out in front of you. The big challenge is leaning back, keeping everything in line and squeezing the rib cage in. Pressing firmly into the tops of the feet and the shins. Bending the elbows wide, but staying back. Breathe in and reach those arms up. Breathe out. Breathe in, bend, cactus your elbows. Breathe out and reach. Last one, bend the elbows, lean back. Root to rise with the hands, come all the way up. Grab onto your left elbow with your right hand. You can tuck both of your toes, look forward. Step forward with the right foot into a lunge. Make sure there's lots of room. Draw the right hip down. Contain even here so we have length in your spine. Breath in. Breath out, side bend over to the right side. Drawing yourself back up towards center, so we're stacking the spine. Bend the right knee even more, push into the right big toe. Left toes are tucked, we're leaning forward. Now we have an angle, you're still holding onto your elbows, leaning forward so you have some space in the hip to straighten out that back leg. If you need to use your hands to get there, definitely do it. Roll the right hip back, bend your right knee and push off the ground with your back toes, like a runner's lunge with bound arms. Holding it, breathing and lengthening the spine. Stack your knee in line with your heel. Good. Soften your left knee. We're pulsing forward. Step forward. Trust yourself. Both feet to the mat. And here we get to fold. Soften the knees. Hold the elbows. And you can sway side to side. Come up halfway. Take a breath in. And fold. Dive over your legs on the breath out. Feet press down, reach your arms over your head, lengthen your spine. One more time here, let's cactus open those elbows. Make sure they're not too close in, they're pretty wide. We're gonna tick-tock the elbows forward and the fingertips back. Try to hold that, squeeze your glutes, lift your chest up, and reach your arms long and open. See if you can back bend just at the top by squeezing the shoulder blades together, opening up the chest and firming up the inner thighs. Holding one breath in, one breath out. Coming up to a long spine, turning the palms, interlace your hands behind your back. Slide the thumbs down the spine and fold. Bend the knees, dive in, round in over your legs. Fingertips to the mat, halfway up, take an inhale. Hands down, step your left foot back, exhale. Three-legged dog, right leg lifts up, point the toes. Like someone's pulling your leg out of its socket, get super long. Bend the knee, open the hips, stay or wild thing. We turn, tippy toes to the mat, reach the right arm over and push your ribs away from your hips, lengthening your torso. Nice. Unravel, right hand comes down to the ground first. A three-legged dog, right leg lifts. Then a downward facing dog, both feet to the ground. Stay right here or inhale forward, plank pose, breath in. Halfway or all the way down, breathe out. Upward facing dog, inhale. Just into your tabletop on your exhale. Keep your knees firm to the ground, walk your hands towards your knees, roll yourself up. So this time we did the hard part first. Reach your arms over your head and do the same thing. Everything's in one line. Firm up your inner thighs, push your hips forward, pull your ribs back, and lean back. So that's the same as before. This time we're staying here, taking a breath in. On the breath out, sweeping those arms behind you, the palms are facing backwards. Only coming forward in line with your body, breathe in, and sweep those arms back, breathe out. Good. Only as forward as your hips. Lean back more and press your hands back. One more. Inhale. Good. And exhale. Come back up, reach your arms up, squeeze your belly in, and hold on to opposite elbows. So this time you can grab your right elbow with your left hand. Line everything up, so including your head and your neck is stacked in line with your rib cage and with your hips. You can tuck both of your toes. You can look forward and step your left foot forward. Good. We'll lean the hips forward. Nice. And side bend over to the left side. Pressing into your feet, we'll stack everything back up. Lean forward, make a crease in your left hip, and already start to get more strict with your left knee. If it's pulling to the side, draw it in. If it's pulling in, push it to the side. Tuck your right toes, take a breath in, straighten your right leg. Yeah, so like runner's lunge 2.0, send your right hip forward and squeeze the back of your right leg. Almost there, holding the ribs in, spreading the shoulder blades open, take a breath in, soften your right knee, big leap of faith forward and dive forward, hold on to your elbows and release. Unravel, fingertips to your shins. Take a breath in. Forward fold, dive over your legs. Root down from the insides of your feet. Allow that to travel up the insides of your legs, stacking, rolling your arms up. Breath in. Bend, cactus your elbows, send your palms back, and this time back bend at the same time. From here, see if you can straighten out your arms. Could go somewhere in between, and that's okay. We're holding, and you're finding your breath in your hold a lot more challenging. Pushing the rib cage up, reaching those elbows back. Coming up to a long spine, interlace your hands behind your back. Pull the hands back, lift the chest up. Bend the knees, dive forward, head first, come up and over your legs. Allow this to be a release. The arms are heavy, the head is heavy. And fingertips come down to the mat. Come up halfway, take an inhale. Step the right foot way back on the exhale. Hands plant down, left leg reaches up and back, three-legged dog. Let's point the toe today. Circle the left thigh in. Bend the knee, open up your hips, stay here, perfect place to stay, or turn your right heel down, find the tippy toes, and wild thing, we're flipping over and drawing the hips up to the ceiling, adding on the reach away from the center. Nice. So we're pushing to pull, flipping back over, look down, left hand comes down, and we're in a downward facing dog. You can walk it out. Forward all together into a plank pose. Try all the way down to the mat in one breath. Bend the elbows and push yourself down. Come up halfway, or sorry, cobra. And this time we plant our forearms back down to the ground. Nice. We'll tuck the right toes under, so kind of going in a circle. Feel those toes press against the mat. And already a challenge is to strengthen and lengthen the left leg on its own. Kneecap is off of the ground. Find that, but also find evenness in the tops of your hips. So we want to press both hips into the ground. Lengthen your foot back. About 5 times, we're pulsing upwards with that leg. It's not going very high, but it's staying super straight and super long. That's more what we are concerned with. If you feel it in your low back, you can be all the way down here. Good. And keep your right forearm down. Bend your left knee. Don't let the left knee touch the ground. Like this foot is going all the way up towards the ceiling. Reach around to grab the outside of your foot. Like dancer's pose, lying down, kick your foot back, point your right toes, lift off of the ground. Good. Both forearms down, both feet down, forehead to the ground. Reach your arms back behind you, interlace the palms, pull the chest off of the ground, draw the hips, bend both of your knees, lift the kneecaps off of the ground, stay here or reach for the outsides of your ankles, your feet, push the feet back to lift the chest up. So different angle in the shoulders. We have our hip extension and more of a back bend. Draw the heart forward. Last one, really going for it. Squeezing your glutes, pointing your toes, lifting off the mat. And come down slow. Push yourself into a wide child's pose. You deserve it, rounding the spine. We'll keep the right hand down and weave the left arm underneath, turning the left ear to the ground. Nice, and coming back towards center and just switching your sides. You're going to push yourself into a tabletop, and this time we're going to stay. So another round of pressing the palms down into the ground. Maybe be a little bit further away from your palms. Bend the elbows, and as you bend the elbows, draw them inwards. We don't want them out like this, like a push-up, more like chaturanga arms. Feel the connection of your triceps that goes all the way into the rib cage. And as we bend, we lower, we lower, we lower. Not from moving forward, really by lifting the chest away from the forearms and drawing the forearms down to the ground. We're going back up One more time, pressing and lifting. And lowering the elbows down. This time, stay here. So sorry, I keep moving on my mat. Now you're in a forearm tabletop. We're lengthening one leg back, the other leg back. You're in a forearm plank. Play here with lifting the hips up and back like your forehead is going to touch the mat. You can even walk the feet closer and might be easier to feel the difference. And coming back into your plank where your chest feels like it's drawing forward. And we lift the hips up and back. Imagine hands on your hips, drawing them up towards the ceiling. And pushing the chest forward with your firm forearms in the ground. One more time, sliding the hips up and back. This is your dolphin pose. And drawing the hips down with support from the arms. Tap the knees down, untuck the toes, and come all the way down to your belly. Hands slide back. Baby cobra on the breath in. Back onto your hands and your knees. Walk your hands towards your knees and stand up. Arms reach up and over your head. This time, hold on to your left wrist with your right hand. Been here before. Squeeze the hips forward and the tailbone down. Look forward. Step with the right foot. Bend the right knee. A little bit faster this time. We're going to first arch the spine. You can even press your head back into your arms or lift and reach the heart up. Squeeze the inner thighs together for your base. And go the other way, lean forward. Energy out the top of your head. Tuck your back toes, straighten your left leg. Nice. Walk the left foot slightly in. We're going for it, a toppling tree with your bound arms, or if you need, we let go of the arms. Bend the knee past your foot, kick off your back leg, straighten the leg, and let's point the toe for this one. Still, we're in that leg extension. Nice. So you're following that line. Head is pulling forward. Toes are pulling back. Hold it. Draw the right hip back. Left hip forward. Fingers down. Standing splits. Bend the left knee and lift it up. Both feet touch the mat. Come halfway up. Take a breath in. And forward fold on your breath out. Bend your knees. Utkatasana pose. So feel nice behind the legs. Hold your Utkatasana. Lift the chest. You can make more of those Y arms. One breath in. Reach the fingertips away from each other. Breath out. Cactus the arms. Hands behind the back. Straighten the legs. Dive forward. Lengthen your spine on the breath in. Plank through chaturanga, hop or step back. Flow it out, let it go. Heart lifts, chest lifts, breathe in. Bend the knees. One more time, walk your hands towards your knees and stand up on your kneecaps. Good. Arms reach up and over your head, lengthen your spine. Hold on to opposite elbows. Lean just the ribs back, line everything up. Take as much time as you need. Look forward. Step your left foot forward. Good. Draw your hips to the front. Inner feet is what's drawing you in to the center. Move from that center up and over, back bend. Let the weight of your arms help you out. Nice, breath in. Come forward, anchor yourself forward. Now we know where we're going. We need a nice angle in the spine. Tuck the right toes under. Continue to press forward. Straighten out your right leg. Even out your hips before we move into a toppling tree. Inner rotate the right thigh. You can always use your hands, bend this knee, kick off your leg. Find your balance and lift the inner thigh. Pointed toe for your toppling tree to inner rotate that thigh even more, to extend the hip even more. Nice, fingertips to the ground. Standing splits, kick that leg up, then bend the knee and kick the knee up even higher. Step your feet together, top of the mat. Lengthen your spine, take a breath in. And fold over your legs, breathe out. Bend your knees, reach your arms up. Last time, Utkatasana pose. Arms in a Y shape, separate the palms, breathe in. One time, cactus your arms, flip the palms back, interlace your palms, pull the hands away from the chest, straighten the legs and dive over your legs. Fingertips down, halfway lift, breath in. Hands down, step or hop back. Last time, moving through a flow. Lift the chest up. We'll meet back in our downward facing dog. So if you're wondering where we're going with all of this, here it is. We're in our downward facing dog. You have firm palms, wide open shoulders, super warmed up shoulder girdles. Soften the knees. We are bending the elbows down to the mat at the same time into our dolphin pose. One elbow is probably more stubborn than the other. Once we get down to the mat, you can kind of perfect your dolphin pose, bringing the chest slightly forward, and you can walk the feet slightly in. You want to try something way more challenging, we're going to move back up into a downward facing dog from our dolphin pose. Look forward, take a breath in, push into your hands at the same time, lift the elbows at the same time, and we're back into a downward facing dog. Breath in through the nose, breath out the mouth. Let's try it one more time since we're here, especially if one elbow went down first. Here's your chance to do the other side kind of first. Take an inhale, spread your palms, open up the chest, elbows drawing in. You can imagine them squeezing back towards your knees. We're in a dolphin pose. Trying to be graceful might not happen. Relax in your dolphin pose for a second with your head, with your hips drawing up and back and up and back. And then coming forwards, pressing into the palms. There's almost a magic of not thinking about it too much, but open up the backs of the shoulder blades, curl in the rib cage, and press both palms at the same time. A plank is going to feel great after this. Soften the knees, come forward into a plank pose where your shoulders want to be in line with your wrists. Drop the knees, press yourself back into a child's pose, but bend or reverse prayer. So hands come together, forehead to the ground, and bend your elbows. Nice. To come out, we walk all the way up to the knees. Let's start unwinding. You can bring your knees closer into the center of your mat. And we'll come into a hero's pose. So you can bring your hips in between your feet. If that's too much, you have a block, or you have the other version with the knees wide and you have a seat. You can stay up and lifted, or you can enjoy all of that stretching open we did and walk your hands back either onto your forearms, lift and tuck your hips, or you can lie down all the way onto your back, squeezing the hips down to the center and tucking your chin. And there are no rules. It might feel nice to stay here, even end your practice here. But if you want to continue on, come out slow. Try to come out pretty evenly. And to come out, usually we do a flow. You can do that, or sometimes it's nice to just have a seat crossing. And there we are. We'll lengthen your legs long out in front of you. Bend your right knee straight up and into your chest. The challenge is to find even press of your sitting bones. If you're leaning to one side, anchor down, lean onto the right. Point the toes of the left foot, which we don't usually do, but it's okay. We'll get through it. And take the right foot up and over your left foot. And take the right hand behind you, finding your twist. Lengthen this left leg long as you do this. Imagine it's being pulled out from underneath you. You have more space in your twist after our back bends, after our shoulder opening. Nice. To come out, you can physically take your right leg back in. Keep these toes pointed. Keep this right arm close to you and the left arm out to the side for balance. Point the toes of the right foot. A little ab exercise on your way out, just like on the way in. We're taking a breath in. On the breath out, reach the right arm up and the right toes forward. We're testing our center line. Good. Back into the center by bending both. You can drag the foot, or it could be slightly floating off the mat. And test that out again, pointing the toes and reaching the arm up and over. And we have one more, bending that elbow, squeezing that knee in. Lengthening it out, pointing both of your toes, reaching both of your arms up, drawing the ribs back, diving the chest in, and reaching forward towards your feet. When you get there, flex the feet and fold, make it active. Next one will be passive. This one, we squeeze, drawing the ribs back, your C curve of your spine, your abdomen's working, will help you even in your forward fold. Drawing the hips apart, the sit bones back. One breath in, one breath out. Roll up the spine, stacking head last. Point the toes of the right foot, bend your left knee. Before we go anywhere, let's get those sitting bones even in the ground. Tuning in, probably have to heavy the right sitting bone. The left one is more pointing in this position. From here, continue to point the right toes, take that left foot up and over, bend the right elbow and twist. Fingertips come behind you. Think of all the movement in your rib cage. You're letting it float around and back. Nice, pulling forward. You can bring your foot with you. Find evenness in your sitting bones and find two pointed toes. So in yoga, we're often flexing our feet. There's benefits to pointing our toes too. Without squeezing them too tight, we want a long extended leg. Reach this arm just by your side. So you have a little bent arm. Right hand is securing you so you don't tip over to the sides. Reach, arm up, leg long. Hopefully feeling this around the center body. Bend and draw in towards the center. Limbs are light, core is heavy. Arm away from leg, breathe in, sit tall. Knee in towards you. One more, lengthen the leg, reach the arm up. You have two pointed toes. Two arms reach up. Dig the sitting bones down, pull the ribs back, dive over by tucking your chin. Like you can point your fingers, you're pointing your toes, folding straight in half. Then flex your feet, draw the heels forward, and hold on. This time you can make the upper body more passive, drooping it down over the legs as you see fit. A wide breath into your back body. Use your hands to roll yourself back up. You can bend your knees, feet together, knees out wide. Let yourself come down to a Supta Baddha Konasana, but let's have the arms open in that T shape in the same way we started. We started our class with our wide knees. Now your feet are together. Turn the palms to face down. Really simply stack your knees on top of each other, but continue to press the backs of the shoulders lightly, the pads of the fingers lightly. It's a slight twist, leaning the knees to the left. Open up the right knee, just like we did before, letting the weight of the right knee pull open the hips. And lift the left knee, let it stack, keep the torso square. And one more, a little faster, opening up that left knee, letting it droop down to the ground on its own, stacking the right knee on top of the left, turning the hips away from the right shoulder, and opening up the right knee, letting it fall first through a Supta Baddha Konasana. Left knee comes on top of the right. Draw your left shoulder away from your left hip. You can end your practice in your Supta Baddha Konasana, maybe taking the arms long by your sides instead, or straight up and over your head with soft elbows, the backs of the palms facing down or facing up. And tuck the chin. And lengthen your legs, or you can stay where you are. And before I fall asleep, I'll just say thank you guys for coming. You can stay as long as you need. You can fall asleep. Namaste.